What's going on, guys? This is Miasin, and this is going to be a deck profile from a subscriber of mine who actually sent me this gorgeous Blue Eyes Trap deck list, and I can relate as a fellow Cyber Dragon Trap player myself. So this has been used to get a 55-9 win rate at his online locals and everything, decimating the meta with this deck, and I can actually see why. It kind of has a similar vibe, like I said, to Cyber Dragon, because the trap cards are actually really good going second, right? You have Solemn Strike, Torrentialize, Dragon's Prison, etc. And if you are obviously going first, well, you have Summon Limit to just floodgate your opponent to death, and you can make negates with your extra deck, obviously using either a tuner such as White Stone of Ancient or rank 8 Xyz with whatever, Blue Eyes Alternative, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and then make Draglubion, Harbinger, etc. So yeah, before this video starts, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and also check me out on Instagram at Yasin656YGO, and now let's get right into it. Alright, so first of all, 2 Blue Eyes Alternative, I can definitely understand that, probably the perfect ratio. What I will say though is that I don't really understand the 2 Jet, and I also don't understand why there is either no Levinier or no Chaos Emperor Dragon of Armageddon, considering the fact that he was actually playing the 3 Melody of Awakening Dragon. And also, you are playing a 43 card deck, so I think this is something that you can do. And in case y'all were wondering why is he playing 43 and not just trying to minimize to 40, well, it's because the 3 other cards are the Dragoon package. So obviously, if you're playing more cards in your deck, you're trying to break less often by not drawing the one-ofs too much. Obviously, if you play more cards in your deck with Levinier, Chaos Emperor, whatever, well, your Melody is still going to be great because you still play 3 copies, but if you want to draw them less often, well, then definitely no problem. And the Blue Eyes Jet, I can also understand because it protects your Floodgates. So when you have like Blue Eyes Jet with Summon Limit, then it's actually a nightmare for your opponent to deal with this card. So I can see that. And also there's another card which I think it's Deep of Blue Eyes. On the end phase, you search a level 8 Dragon monster from your deck, so you can search Chaos Emperor and Levinier that way, which is great if you're playing Blue Eyes Control. But I think I would probably cut the Jet to 1, but I also understand the logic behind 2. The Sage with Eyes of Blue, not gonna lie, I do not understand the logic behind only 2, because it also has the in-hand effect, where you can transform a monster on the field into a Blue Eyes monster from your deck. So you can actually summon Blue Eyes Jet Dragon from your deck, and this is the reason why I would actually play 3 Sage, because even if you draw 2, it's not the end of the world. You go normal summon one of them, and then use the effect from the hand with one of the other Sage. And also, the Tyrant of D is an overpowered card. This is obviously a 3-up because it doesn't really use up your normal summon. It's a free special summon, so 3 Tyrant of D definitely logical. And yeah, 3 White Stone of Ancients. In that version of Blue Eyes, it makes sense, and in the more combo version, it's almost the opposite, where White Stone of Ancient is less good, because passing turn on end phase, getting a Blue Eyes monster doesn't really do that much, and you really want to go like Cards of Consonance, discard White Stone of Legend, or do whatever plays with this card. But in the control build, this is the correct ratio, I want to say. Massey, if you're watching this video, I hope you agree with at least 80% of what I'm saying. I'm not a Blue Eyes pro myself, but I understand the deck to a minimum. Anyways, 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon. Yeah, I think it's between 3 and 2, but if you're not playing Desires, I think 2 should be enough. And if you are playing Desires, well, it's risky, but Desires wouldn't work if you're playing Dragoon package. So 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon, I think, is just a little too much. Maybe cut this down to 2, but again, I could be wrong. Remember that I am the guy who plays 1 Cyber Dragon, though. So cards that are like almost the core to the strategy but aren't, like Cyber Dragon and Blue Eyes, that you just need to have in your deck but don't necessarily want to draw like in your opening hand when you're going first, not the most ideal, so that's why I'm trying to apply a similar logic. But yeah, Dragoon package, I already kind of explained how playing 43 actually makes sense when you're playing the Dragoon cards. And then 1 Return of Dragon Lords, it's an extender but not a starter, so it makes sense that it's only a 1-of. No Silver Scry, which is a card that you could be playing, but that would mean that you would also have to play Dragon Spirit of White, and this player is not playing Dragon Spirit of White. As a matter of fact, Nick, that's his name, he's playing 2 Blue Eyes Jet with no other kind of other Blue Eyes monsters that you can summon with White Stone of Ancient. So really only 2 targets, because the alternative must be summoned from the hand first, and then from the graveyard, but this only summons from the deck, so it will not work. And yeah, 3 Melody, 3 Trade-in, and then 1 Ultimate Fusion. Now this card can be an interruption if you use materials from your field, because this is going to be able to pop. I think it's actually that effect. Yeah, it's that effect and not the Tyrant Dragon that pops. But this card is like a Conductor Tyranno, not like the Book of Eclipse effect, but like it attacks every monster your opponent controls. And also, if it battles at the end of the damage step, you can target 1 trap in your grave and set it to your spell and trap zone, and that's the beauty with this card if you're playing Control, is that you get to recycle back your trap cards. Now, I will be making a comment about the trap cards and the ratios, etc. with this card, but later on. And of course, yeah, I think I already went over the 3 trade-in, 3 Ice Dragon's Prison. This card is great when you go second, but it's not always good against every single deck out there, so I think maybe consider cutting the card down to 2, but it's very up to debate, so yeah. Imperial Order, Skill Drain, of course, 1,000,000,000% agreed. Skill Drain in Blue Eyes almost feels like cheating, because your Whitestone of Ancients turns into like a 3k vanilla, and vanilla monsters with high attack under Skill Drain are like ultimate like towers, basically. It's basically the same thing, because your opponent will not be able to out your big monsters under Skill Drain, so definitely logical. And then, yeah, 3 Solemn Strike, double Summon Limit. Now, one thing about Summon Limit, though, is that I'm just not sure if it's good. It's the card you need if you're trying to beat the meta going second. So main decking Summon Limit, I'm less inclined to do it. I think I would actually keep it in the side deck, and I would main deck maybe cards like Gozen Match, where when you're going second you can flip them, and your opponent has to give up on monsters. Because you can't really compare Summon Limit to Gozen and Rivalry. They don't really follow the same logic. And if I recall correctly, every single monster here is light attribute, except Dragoon and Tyrant of D. So it makes sense to follow that route with Gozen Match. Probably not Rivalry, though. Rivalry hurts you way more because you have Spellcasters and Dragons, so it's less good. And yeah, 2 Ultimate Creature of Destruction, which is a card that I would personally only be playing as a one-of maximum, honestly. And you can all reset it with True Light, so I think this is just a little redundant. And 2 Torrential Tribute, great, go for it. You can also play Dinomischus, etc. That also works. And if you are playing Dinomischus, I recommend playing Link Spider, so when you summon back your Dinomischus, you can make it, and then normal summon literally anything, and make your Anaconda for Dragoon that way. So Dinomischus is not only a card that allows you to trigger the graveyard effect of Whitestone of Ancients and Whitestone of Legend, which are searchable with Sage with Eyes of Blue, which I recommend playing 3 of, but also, since it's a monster, why not? And yeah, True Light, I do believe that 1 is enough. Not only because destroying your own monsters when it leaves the field is kind of bait, well, when it's sent from the spell and trap zone to the grave, but you can recycle it back with Tyrant Dragon, so do you really feel like you need to play 2 True Light? I'm just not a super big fan. This card in testing, honestly, I'm going to be 1,000,000,000% transparent. It was actually the worst Blue Eyes card that I actually played in my deck. So the True Light, I'm not really going to be defending the 2 of ratio, but if you want to play 1 True Light, I actually think this is completely fine. Overall, pretty good main deck list. Now for the extra deck, Blue Eyes Twin Burst, you don't actually need Ultimate Fusion to summon it. You can basically just send 2 Blue Eyes, a White Dragon from your field to the grave in order to summon it, and it has that niche effect where it can banish cards and attack, well, banish monsters and attack twice, which is pretty cool. Tyrant Dragon, great card with the Ultimate Fusion. The Dragoon with Red Eyes. Baroness de Fleur, actually summonable with a level 1 tuner and your level 9 synchros like Blue Eye Spirit. Blue Eyes Moonrose Dragon. Now, one thing that I will say is that I would actually like to fit in Azure Eyes Spirit Dragon. I just don't know how easy it is to achieve because, honestly, the extra deck is very, very tight. Formula Synchron, Needle Fiber, of course, that's like a package. Now, this is really, really good because the Needle Fiber summons you a monster, and then the formula, it also summons the Formula Synchron, which can immediately go into Baroness using the tuner monster that you summon. But not really, but the tuner monster that you summon would be Whitestone of Ancients, and then on the end phase, you summon, let's say, Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, and then use Blue Eyes Jet Dragon with Formula Synchron in order to make Baroness. So Needle Fiber is pretty much a 1-card Baroness in that deck, which is actually extremely good. So that has to stay for sure. I really, really support that. Now, I don't know if you can actually cut one of the Xyz. You definitely cannot cut Linkuriboh or Anaconda, whatever. Cut the Twin Burst, whatever. It really depends. Anyways, now for the side deck, because yes, this player does have a side deck. He's not like me. His name is not Yasin. He doesn't have idea sections. Well, maybe he does, but not for this deck, because this is tournament ready, since it actually went 55-9. That's freaking crazy, man. Oh my god. Anyways, 2 Ash, which is a very generic hand trap, but no Nibiru, no Lancia, no Droll, no like silver bullets that are like turn skippers, which is interesting. Ash is not a turn skipper. If your opponent has a good hand, he plays through it. The fact that your only turn skipper would be Token Collector is a little concerning if you are with the Drytron matchup or even Tri-Brigade, because I do not see how you beat that matchup easily if you go second. If you go first, the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon is tier 0 against Tri-Brigade because they cannot flip Revolt, since they cannot use, they cannot summon more than 1 monster simultaneously in one shot, and Revolt summons at least 2 or more monsters, and then links immediately. So obviously Blue-Eye Spirit Dragon also negates Kit and Nerval in the graveyard, which is huge, on top of just shutting down Revolt. So if you're going first, always Turbo out Spirit, and against Drytron, I would still make Spirit, honestly. I'd still do it because you get to negate like Herald of Arclight in the grave with the Drytron effects in the grave. Blue-Eye Spirit is just, it's just the best card, man. It's one of the best synchros ever printed. It's just a little hard to summon, but of course you get heavily rewarded if you summon it. But yeah, like I said, I would try to fit in those Silver Bullet hand traps, maybe cut the Ash, to be honest. You're already good against control decks if you are playing Lightning Storm. One thing that I'm also going to add is that if you are playing Lightning Storm, Duster also has to be in your side deck, I want to say, because otherwise back row decks can actually be a little problematic, and Lightning Storm is your only blowout, so I think you should also be playing Evenly Matched, because it's really good against Lairless Tri-Brigade if that deck cannot make the turn 1 Tri-Brigade Oath in the graveyard, which is actually really hard to set up. It's a combo that requires a pretty good hand. Like, the average hand doesn't always have the full setup for Oath, so Evenly Matched is really good against Tri-Brigade Lairless, really recommend it. Maybe over Lightning Storm, and then I think you're already good going first. So Dimensional Barrier, it's just not really worth it to me. Same thing with Anti-Spell. You really have to be focusing on going second card. So Token Collector, maybe cut it down to 2. And like I said, Ash, cut definitely. Maybe play Droll, maybe play Lancia. So just a good card overall. But Droll is probably the #1 hand trap that you would have to play. I am actually against playing Herald of Arclight in this situation. I don't think it makes that much sense unless you're playing the continuous spell card that allows you to bounce back monsters from your field to the hand in order to summon the Blue Eyes. You can go Needle Fiber, summon Allar Justice Cycle Reader, and then use that continuous spell to bounce back that Cycle Reader, and then summon Blue Eyes, and then Needle Fiber into Formula, and then into Baroness, which is a really cool 2-card combo. Well, 2-card combo. I think it's a 2-card combo. Only if you have a 1-card Needle Fiber and then continuous spell, but whatever, you get the point. But yeah, definitely please apply those changes. I think it'll help. 2 Anti-Spell, 2-Dimensional Barrier, 2 Goes in Match, 2 Rivalry. I really like those trap cards. I actually like them so much that I would actually try to main deck them. That's really all I have to say. Beautiful deck list. Again, huge shoutouts to you, Nick. Thank you so much for sending me this beautiful deck list, and thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check me out on Instagram, and also tune in for the live stream today. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.